Today, my grief is going off. Sometimes what happens in the outside world kind of throws my balance off because it's such a fine balance in grief. You think like you get your head around ideas, philosophies, and you're like, okay, I got this, I can do this. And then something out in the world just kind of triggers that grief knockout. And so I'm like, kind of the last couple days, I've been just sort of trying to get my head around planet Earth again and the bigger ideas of life and death and what happens after we die and how we behave while we're here. Seriously, it's interesting because many years ago, my dad told me, Valarie, the next global disaster will be of consciousness. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, does it? And, it's taken me a little while to get my head around that idea. But what I realize, like when I look out into the world and when even by putting myself out into the world and getting crazy bullying comments back over such simple ideas and such loving, graceful ideas. But he said that to me and I was like, okay, let me think about this. And it stayed with me. That comment stayed with me because I feel like such a drive to understand it all, and I would imagine most people do kind of want to understand it all. It's like Kurt Vonnegut's Sirens of Titan, where mankind looked ever outward for the answers and to the meaning of life, and outward so much so that in this book they end up on different planets, et cetera, and in the end to find out that the true meaning of life resides within us all and our connection. And it's kind of like that, like consciousness is going to come through regardless. And there is a lot of fear and resistance, the good old boy system just trying to own it all and keep it all, and we're gonna survive. Like, yo guys, you're not gonna live forever. None of us live forever. So this incessant drive on the planet to survive and help yourself to anything that the planet has. Like, we're not the only species on planet Earth, for real. Like I was in this conversation, and I'm going to bounce a lot because my grief is seriously going off today, and it will circle back. But I was in this conversation about progress and how mankind will survive and how let's keep overpopulating so that economies will thrive and survive. And when we run out of water, let's just tap into the ocean, right? Like, excuse me, there are other species. Like, we're so arrogant that the conversation doesn't go, well, maybe we need permission from the dolphins, the whales, all of the little spirits that reside in our ocean. Or for that matter, we actually seem to think that we own it all and can destroy it all in our terms without permission. Let's just destroy everybody's habitats. But in the meantime, are we smart enough to recreate such incredible life? No, we are not. We are stupid enough to destroy it, though. Let me talk about that. I'm enraged about it. In fact, I wore a jacket just to not get criticized about respect. And so, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go into the term I'm using is sandbox silver spoon. I don't want to get into that. But the permission that has been granted on the planet to be a bully, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. It isn't okay, actually. And going back to what my dad said in the sense of consciousness, I get it now, because as consciousness and expansion and light is coming through, like, the creepy little crawlers will get more exposed and we'll have no place to go. So it's going to just, it will implode into a different life experience when the old paradigm comes crashing down because it's not sustainable. Like, part of that conversation I was having earlier was like, okay, well, if we fuck up this planet, we can go to another one. whoa, that just blew my mind. I was like, but we live on a perfect planet. Like, what are we all doing? And so let consciousness come in for real. Like, it's time for, light workers, or the new paradigm, the 15% or the 10%. I mean, I feel like the new paradigm has lost a little bit of momentum within all of the happenings. But like, I realized, like, it's not my job, in a sense, to resist and push back. It's my job to expand and grab onto my light and bring it in. I want to bring so much light in that I explode, because too, I'm not going to live forever. So I feel like the change that I can make is through my consciousness, and to bring as much love and connection as I possibly can allow through my physical being before I split planet Earth. And it really does blow my mind. In fact, I've got to reading this quote from Bukowski, because it's important. And then I have a couple other ones too, because this is what happens when my grief goes off. So back to, we're all going to die, so being Zen, being cool with each other, and being cool with planet Earth, leaving the least amount of impact as you can in a world that we created that thrives on materialism, not Mother Nature. It's the craziest thing. So Bukowski, we're all going to die, all of us. What a circus. That alone should make us love each other, but it doesn't. We are terrorized and flattened by trivialities. We are eaten up by nothing. Right? Seriously. I almost feel like I can end it there. What else needs to be said? Other than the fact I am grieving presently the lack of intelligence, or let me start that again. I am grieving intelligence, wisdom, humility, and my son, because he embodied all of those things, all of them. And I know there are the younger generation. There is a generation coming up that will end up expanding the new paradigm and bringing in the light. It is inevitable. And with that said, all of you light, Zen, beautiful humans, you healers and thinkers and wise ones, get more powerful, bring it on, bring it in, and expand it within yourself and your communities. And that eventually, I think, is the global disaster that my dad spoke about, right? Because with consciousness, how can we sustain such a low vibration experience where there's such betrayal, lying, the narcissism, the vanity? It's nuts. It's crazy. Look, we've all had our fair share of narcissists, or at least I have in my life, and sociopaths, a couple of those too. You learn, you grow. So everybody's important to show the way. But the way is really kind of opening up and so obvious. And if you're seeing, what did Rumi say? Become seeing, seeing, seeing. We are one, we are connected. And so with all of these broken parts, the world that we live in is just the representation of what broken feels like. The more we unite, it will feel different, so for those that are sad, trying to fit in, anxious, depressed and grieving, empower yourself with those emotions and make a difference in your consciousness and your connection, and turn that human experience around the best that you can to be able to be part of that light change that is inevitable on planet Earth and will always exist. Truth and love will never, ever die, no matter what. It's Truth is in itself a living, breathing being. And how you interpret truth is just an interpretation of what actually is. So, I don't know. I've been wrecked the last couple of days with perhaps an expectation of mankind to think that we might be in a more progressive and more expansive space with the powers to be and those that seem to keep all the control, you know. But from Kurt Vonnegut to so many writers and thinkers and spiritualists, real change starts with the individual from the inside. So be light, be love, and know you are not alone in your light, in your struggles. You're not alone. And wait, you know what? I have to say this, because also in part of the conversations that I've had over the last couple days, it's like, Valarie, you know, like as you're expanding and growing and the relationships, or in general, just kind of as a metaphor in general, relationships that you end up regretting, you must forgive the person who has done you wrong or is doing wrong. And wrong meaning like hurting. I guess, you know, like hurting is, I mean, we could go back to the Bible, but let's not do that. But I realized that I think the biggest part of forgiveness with hanging out with low vibration or in low vibration or supporting low vibration is when you figure it out, the time that you spent or the energy that you gave to that old paradigm is the part that I feel like I need to forgive. So in essence, I forgive myself for giving any time to the old paradigm so far this lifetime. But my goal now is be like, okay, I learned about the low vibration humans. You guys exist. You existed now. You existed then. You're written about in the Bible. It takes all of us to create this planet of contrast and this experience of growth and expansion, because if you don't see one side, then how can you see that you need to expand? Or how do you know what feels better versus what feels bad? I mean, this is what went down in my kid's life. He felt too much. And so it was too much to take on. I mean, it is too much to take on when you're looking at the way overall people treat each other and where they hide out. Religion is not safe. And I don't care what you say. All of the negative comments on my grief beats, which is just an exploration of dealing with grief on losing a child and a parent, all of them, and all are the angry ones, all based in religion. God this, God that, Jesus. No way would God or Jesus be like, yo, you're talking about something that I don't believe in, so your head's up your ass, or you're stupid, or God, you're an idiot, you're a moron, you're a dumb woman, whatever it might be. It's nuts what's going on out there. And I believe in spirituality. I believe in love. I believe in treating people the way you want to be treated. So I'm down with a core value, the values that we all represent when we are trying to do good and embrace it all. But I am not down with cowards who hide behind it to lash out or use it as an excuse or any of those things. Man, can't you just be fucking cool? Like, I'm serious. Like, can you create a butterfly? Can you make a bird fly? Can you make a dolphin? Or can you reproduce the planet when we've destroyed it? Or do you even know what love is, seeing is? Ask yourself that. And where would you be without the place in which you reside now, which is planet Earth? Seriously, practice, do this for a second. Like, go, okay, instead of hating that person for having an opinion or celebrating something that I might not understand, wow, that's really cool. I'm glad for her. I'm happy for that person, or I don't understand the choice of your sexuality or the way that you were born, but I'm going to embrace it because you're a living, breathing human and your spirit is no different than my spirit. So I'm going to give you space or rights, etc. Like it's like to fix and to connect, we have to love and we have to respect and we have to allow other people to exist. And so it's like, I get it. Like, you know, there has to be rules essentially in the universe, or all the planets would collide and we would have nothing left, right? But within leadership and within relationships and friendships, the idea of wisdom, not even the idea of it, wisdom, grace, space, elevated consideration of another's opinions or values. Because let's be honest, if someone comes up to you and knocks you out or shoots you or whatever it is, that's not cool. Religion doesn't need to tell me that, or opinion doesn't need to tell me that. So when you weaponize words and you attack through words, chill, man, because it's hurtful and it's contributing to like low vibration energy on planet Earth. It's not cool. Seriously. And I know I'm going off a little bit, but I can't get my head around like the idea that people who have spent time on this planet, there are people that don't expand. It blows my mind, man. So anyway, Bukowski. I love Bukowski. Postal worker, art. The idea of art and the lack of support for art. Art is brilliant. From Dr. Strangelove, right? Gentlemen, no fighting. I can't wait. What is it? Gentlemen, did I write this down? Oh, yeah. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. It's the war room. Killer movie. But it's like going back into time, whether it's Kurt Vonnegut or Bukowski or Dr. Strangelove. Or Howard Beale, like in Network, killer film, like talk about Network and behind the scenes and fear propaganda and all the crazy shit that we're fed every single day. Howard Beale being a character in this film Network, he's just, look, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. Or I'm not going to take it anymore. So let's not, like we don't have to sign up for fear-based propaganda and dividing, thought, because to divide is to conquer, right? Like weaken light workers, weaken the connection. Let's just get strong together. And I know this is idealistic for sure, but I'm a dreamer all the way. I believe that there is good in us all. It's just what we're taught, or our insecurities. We're not taught to deal with our insecurities and speak it out or trust in all of it. It's like we have to kind of hit a reset button consciously. Again, my dad, next global disaster, let it be. Eventually we will have to become more conscious and more expanded, because we're going to be forced up against the wall to do it, because we're not smart enough to get it done before we fuck everything up. Anyway, that's Grief Beats for today.